Hello and welcome to everybody on Cloud Fitness. So in today's video, we are going to talk about widgets in Databricks and the new SQL widgets that have recently come up in Databricks. So widgets are very simple concepts basically. So whenever you want to parameterize your code or you want to, run the same piece of code with multiple parameters, in that case, widgets is something that should come into your mind first. So let's say you have a piece of code and you want to run the same piece of code for your dev environment, for your production environment. In that case, what you can do is you can simply go ahead and change the value of your widget and run the same code, right? So this is how useful your widgets are. And similarly, let's say you want to run the same piece of code with different values for say, right? In that case, again, widgets come very handy. And even to use these widgets, you do not have to import any specific library. These are the part of your DB utils, which is basically the base of the Databricks itself. So they are the part of base Databricks itself. You do not need to import anything. And when you talk about widgets or parameters, you can actually have multiple type of widgets as per your use case. You can have a text, you can have a drop down, you can have a combo box, you can have a multi-select, and each of these we will see in the detail now on the portal. So now let's move to the portal and see each of them in detail, and do remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel. So guys, let's try to create a widget over here. So if you see the command 2 right now, what it says is dbutils.widgets.dropdown. So this is how you will create a widget. So you can create any type of widget that I mentioned. So even on the top, you can see you have a combo box, you have a drop down, right? And you have a text also. So let's say instead of this drop down, if you want to have a text widget, in that case you can have a text widget. So let us, in fact, I'll go through each and every type of widget in this video itself. So dbutils.widgets.dropdown, and now what are the values that I am providing? So this x123 is nothing but the name of your widget. Okay, this is the name of your widget, and whenever you will try to get the value from this widget, you will use this name x123. So this is just a random name, and then this one is the default value, right, that I want to provide in my drop down. So this is the default value, and apart from the default value, since it is a drop down, right, I will definitely need to have other values as well, right? So for that, I'm just using some range of 1 to 10. So now let's go ahead and run this particular cell and see how our widget appears. So if you see on the top, the moment I ran it, you can see x1231, right? Now if this is a drop down, now if you see, I have these values, right? So now you can actually see that you can, whatever the default value, I have put default value as 1, right? That is why it is showing. Now if the same thing you will use in your code and you will try to fetch the value, it will give you the value of 1. Right? And whenever you want to run it for some other value, you can definitely go ahead and change the value and run the same piece of code for other value as well. Now let's see, let's try to get the value, right? So to get the value, you just have to use the get function or get argument function. So let's say dbutils.widgets, the same piece, and then get argument. Now inside that argument, what I'm mentioning over here is x123. Now what is x123? x123 is the name of the widget that we defined over here, right? So it is the same name. In fact, let me copy this command and run it just below this cell, right? So now here you are actually trying to get the value, and now the default value is 1. So you can see that it retrieved 1. So argument is not necessary over here. So if you remove this argument piece and then you just try to get it, then also you will get 1 as the answer. Now let me try to create another drop down. Okay, let's see command 4. Now again here I am using the same syntax, dbutils.widgets.dropdown. So here the default name is 1, okay, and then the default value is 1, and the rest of the values that will go into drop down is again in the range of 1 to 10. And then again you see over here, hello, this is widget, right? I have written this. What is this? This is the display name. So you need to understand that at maximum you can pass these 4 parameters or the 4 values inside a drop down. what the first value is basically the name of your widget. So whenever you're going to call your widget, you are going to use that particular name, right? In my case it is 1, and then you have the default value. So the default value is again 1. So let me change the default value to 5. And then you have the set of values that you want to provide inside the widget, and then you have a display name. So display name is something that you see over here, x123. In case you do not define this display name, automatically the first parameter or the first value which you give, which is your default name, that will be taken as your default name. So let me run this particular cell and you will see hello this is widget on the top and 5 as a default value. So if I do not provide this hello this is widget, which I have done at the top, automatically the first value is taken as the name, right? Now again, if I try to get this value, so let me copy this command again and run it for this, then you will actually see that I have to use 1 over here, right, to get the value of 5. So if I use 1, guys, you can actually see you have got 5 over here, right? And you cannot use this hello this is widget because this is just the display name. So let me in fact try and run this over here. So you can see that it says the input name is not defined because the name of the widget is something that you have described over here, right? Now let's go down and in fact I'll show you text widget now. So when you talk about text widget, right, the same syntax is typically same, dbutils.widgets, then dot text will actually give you a text widget. Now let's try to run this command and you will actually see on the top that API key, right? API key. What is this API key? This API key is nothing, just your display name over here, and in between you have given nothing, right? There is nothing that I have given in between. It is just an empty string. That is why it is showing you as empty right now. Get it? So now guys, if you actually want to retrieve the value of this text widget, basically you will do the same stuff, right? You will just do command, same command, you will actually use dbutils widgets.get and the value, and this is again the name, okay? This is not the display name, so you need to be aware that this API key is actually the display name. So if I run this command, I'll actually get nothing because there is nothing in my widget, right? So now let's write orange inside it, right? And now again try to get the, now you can see the moment I wrote in my text widget orange, I got the value as orange, right? So this is how your text widget would actually work. Now coming on to combo box. So when you talk about combo box, again the syntax is same. Now let's try to run this. So A is the default value, right, in my combo box, and then A, B, C is some default value, right? So now if you actually see this combo box, in the similar way, like if you want to get the value out of this combo box, you can in the similar way use dbutils.widgets.get to get the value out of this combo box. Now coming on to the multi-select. Now again in the multi-select everything is same. Let me run this and you will actually see how multi-select works. Again you have this multi-select widget here. Now you have these values. Default is yes, yes, no, maybe, right? So these are the default values of your multi-select. Now let me try to use it in a piece of code. So I am actually now showing you how you can use these widgets in a piece of code. So this is a very small piece of code, right? Let me run this. Let me just clear the syntax, and now you can actually see that it has printed whatever I have selected, right? Now let me actually select even all the three, right? And then let me again try to run this. Now you will see that it prints everything. So this is how actually you can use it in your code as well, all these widgets, and try to define your code as well. Now coming on to the SQL part of it. So recently Databricks has changed the way you can use these widgets in your SQL, right? Whenever you are trying to use SQL in Databricks. So to show that, let me actually try to use a data set, a diamond data set, which is by default provided by Databricks. I'm actually creating a table diamond using our diamond.csv file, which is present in the Databricks dataset itself. So once this table is created, I'll actually just do a select star from that table and I'll show you. So this table is created. So let me just do a select star from this table to show you the data, and then we are going to use the widgets in SQL, right? So this is the data that we have. Right now, coming on to the widgets part, right? If you see this command 16, this is how you create widgets in in the new SQL way. So create widgets text y default 10. So let me first run this command, and then you will probably understand how it actually works. So it is directly using a command, create a widget for me, create a text type of widget, and the name of that widget will be y, and the default value will be 10. So this is a very simple way now of creating a widget. And similarly, let's say you want to create a widget based on a value from the table that we have created above, right? Then you have command 17. Now in this command, create widget drop down, create a drop down widget. Okay, name cuts. So the name of that widget will be cuts, and the default value will be good, and the choices that I'm going to provide in that drop down will be select distinct cut from diamond. So if you go back to this particular table, this is the cut, right, from this particular table: ideal, premium, good, very good, right? So these are the values which will be taken from this table and will be provided in this drop down. So let me just run this particular command. So this is quite cool that you can actually you can use choices from the table itself, right? So now you can actually see, guys, that you have this cuts drop down, you have good, premium, ideal, fair, and very good. So all these were the distinct value from that table, and it has taken that, right? And similarly, let's say you want to use that particular drop down widget, right? In that case, again I have command 18 for you. Now in this I'm using a simple statement, select count star as number of choices, get arguments. Now again here I am using get argument, right? Now to get the value, we have to use get argument over here, where cut equal to get argument cut. So wherever cut is equal to good over here, because right now the default value is good, then only the data where cuts is equal to good will come up, because you are using get argument, right? So how many, what is the count of total number of rows basically where your cut is good, right? So this is how you can actually use even the widget in the SQL directly. It is quite good. And in the similar way, you can actually have your drop downs, you can have your combo box, you can have your multi select, whichever you want to create. You just write the name of the widget, right? Create widget, text, drop down, whatever you want to do. And again, if you want to remove a particular widget, in the similar case, you can just write remove widget cuts. So the name of my widget is cuts. So let's run this, and now you can see that the widget cut has gone from the top, right? So that is how you can remove a single widget. But now if you want to remove all the widgets, you can simply run the statement dbutils.widgets.remove all. So this is going to remove all of your widgets, right? And this is how you can even remove your widget. Now let's say you have a problem and you want to understand how this drop down works, how this text works. So simple help statement is also there, dbutils.widgets.help, and inside that you just provide the name, right? You want to get help on drop down, you want to get help on text or anything, right? The moment you write it, Databricks will actually show you what are the parameters required, how you can use this particular drop down as well, right? If you want to get an info on text, then you can simply write text over here and get the info on text as well. Now there is one more a very important thing that I would like to mention over here is, so let's say you are running a different notebook, right? And you have parameters defined in that notebook. So in fact, I'll show you in my workspace a simple notebook which I have prepared for this only. So you can actually see that I have a parameter defined as x equal to 5 over here, right? And then I'm doing a statement print x over here. I'm just printing that particular parameter. Now in the similar way, I have a drop down widget. I have a drop down widget which has values from the range of 1 to 10, right? And then I'm trying to get the value of that widget over here. Now what if I want to use this particular notebook in my widgets notebook, right? This is a different notebook, right, that I am running right now. So if I want to use that notebook in my notebook with a different set of parameter, right, in that case what should I do? Right, you can actually use a percentage run command. So that is, in fact, I don't remember if I have made a video on this, but I can definitely make a video if I have not done so. So you can use this percentage run commands or dbutils.notebooks.run command. There are two ways of doing that. So if you do through this way, then essentially the syntax that you will use is percentage run and the relative path of the notebook. So in fact, let me try to open the same notebook in another tab. So guys, this is the notebook that I have. Your X is 5 here. Now I want to run the same notebook, and if you see the path of this notebook is placed exactly in the same folder, bhavnabedi15@gmail.com, right? At the same folder it is placed. So the relative path you actually define by ./A, right? So this is how a / and the name of the notebook. For me, the name of the notebook is A. That is why I have mentioned that. So it will actually, this particular percentage run ./A will only run that particular notebook. Now if I want to run that notebook, but with the parameters that I define, in that case you will define the parameters like this. Now with the $sign and the value of the parameter, the name of the parameter and the value. So if I go back to this notebook A that I have, you will actually see the X is 5 over here, right? Now but I want to use this X, and I want to use this X with the value of 10. Now in this case I'll use $x equal to 10 in a string. Now again I have a widget over here, right? Widget dot drop down. 1 is the name of my widget and it has some values, and the default value is 1. Now I don't want to give it a default value of 1, I want to give it a default value of 5 and run it. So now let's try to run this. Now what will happen is it will run the same notebook, but it will run it with these values, right? And now you can actually see that it has taken the exact these values. So guys, this is how you can actually run a different notebook, some other notebook from the same notebook, and then you can define your parameters based on your choice. So this is also one way. And can you have different widgets in the same notebook, different types of widget? Yes, definitely you can have. In fact, we did it right now. And in case you want to use it through other notebook, that also I have shown you. So do let me know in the comment section if you have any doubt, and thank you for being till here, and do remember to like, subscribe and share to my channel. Thank you so much.